Grand day to you, peaceful people. It's another day in paradise. It's all about being spirit led and universe fed. You're tuned in to Visions by Vasori under Lady V. That's me. Y'all, before I get into what we are talking about today, please make sure you subscribe, like, support, comment, do whatever you need to do to support your girl because it is greatly, greatly appreciated. Now, before we dive in, let me say this with full respect. I am by no means a part of the Bakongo culture or tradition. I did not grow up in it, and I do not speak as an initiate of it. What I'm sharing today comes from some deep research. It comes from reverence and spiritual, what we call curiosity. There's no disrespect meant, only honoring. And I believe in learning from what came before us and giving credit where it is due. I came across this image the other day and I could not stop staring at it, y'all. Something about it pulled at me like it was speaking, even through the screen. So I did what I always do. I started digging, and baby, what I found lit me all the way up. Now, if you love quirky, sacred, powerful, spiritual things, this video is going to be just for you. Now, I'm a Libra. Justice lives in my bones. Balance, truth, and accountability. That's my language. And when I started learning about this figure, the Nkisi Encondi, I knew instantly this was a spiritual tool that aligned with the way my spirit already moves. Because this is justice work, divine works, ancestral justice. Let's break it down because I want you to feel this, not just know it. When you hear Nkisi, you're hearing about a container for spirits, not just any old box or jar. This is a vessel designed to house a living presence. Now, the Bakongo people believed you could pull spirit into matter. So Enkisi can be a statue, it can be a pot, a horn, a bundle, but it's got to be activated. It's got to be fed. Now, Encondi means hunter. So Nkisi, Encondi, literally means the hunting spirit or the spirit that hunts. But what does it hunt? That's what baby. It goes after liars, broken promises, injustice, spiritual enemies, and sometimes just plain old bad behavior that threatens the community. This figure is never just art. It's a contract, it's a judge, a spiritual law, all wrapped up in one. The Nkisi Encondi comes straight out of Central Africa, specifically from the Bakongo people who live along the Congo River and what is now the Democratic Republic of Congo. Now, their spiritual science is deep, y'all. It's deep. These weren't folks just sitting in huts in the woods. They had kingdoms, they had a trade, they had a full-blown spiritual and social order. The Nganga, the spiritual doctor or priest, was highly respected. Highly respected. Folks came to them for every major life issues, be it illness, disputes, blessings, protection, contracts, and even criminal justice. So back then, when somebody wronged you, you didn't just take them to court. You took them to the Nganga, and the Nganga would go to the Nkisi Encondi. Okay? All right, so building a Nkisi Encondi was sacred work. It started with a wooden figure, like you see now, often carved to look like a human or ancestor. But what made it powerful wasn't the wood. It was what they put inside. And that's where Balongo comes in. This is the medicine. Balongo is a mix of special herbs, roots, minerals, animal parts, or graveyard dirt chosen by the Nganga based on the spirit they want to call. Now, sometimes the mixture included things representing the case at hand, maybe a piece of someone's clothing, their hair, or dirt from the site of wrongdoing. Now they carve open a cavity in the figure, fill it with balango, and seal it. That's the heart of the Nkisi. It might also have a mirror over the cavity so the spirit can see what's being brought before it. And so evil gets sent right back where it came from. Sounds familiar? Sounds familiar? Y'all, I talk about mirrors a lot in work, about sending things back using a mirror in your work. So after the figure was loaded, it was activated with prayers, songs, drumming, and offerings. Sometimes the whole village was involved, standing as witnesses. Now, let's talk about those nails, blades, mirrors, dolls, ropes, shells, and other stuff sticking out of these figures at times. So, the significance of nails and blades. Every nail or blade is a case, a petition, a request, a contract. When you drive that iron into the Nkisi, you're literally nailing down your truth. It makes the spirit wake up and take action. If you break your vow, the Nkisi Encondi is believed to hunt you down until balance is restored. Mirrors. You'll often see little mirrors or shiny surfaces on the chest or stomach. Those aren't for decoration. They are portals so the spirit can see the physical and spiritual world. They also bounce evil right back to the sender. It's like a spiritual CCTV, baby. Dolls and figures. Let's talk about that. Sometimes you see small dolls or faces attached. Now those represent the people involved, the petitioners, the wrongdoers, the witnesses, or spirits being called into the work. If you see rope or some kind of cloth strips, the bindings are for tying up spiritual matters. Sometimes they literally bind harm or confusion so it can't move freely in the community. The Nkisi Encondi sat at the center of life. It was public, it was visible, and it was respected. Now, if you had a dispute, you stand in front of it, you'll speak your truth, and maybe even drive a nail to seal your vow. And if you were the accused or of wrongdoing, you might have to swear before the Nkisi Encondi, knowing spirit will handle any lies that you tried to tell. Sometimes when a contract was made, say two people making a business deal or marriage vow, they seal it by driving a nail in the Nkisi Encondi together. This was also a judge, y'all. If something went wrong in the community and nobody confessed, the Nganga might send the Nkisi out to hunt the truth. If you were the guilty one, you'd start feeling it in your spirit. You'll have dreams, you'll be sick, or a run of bad luck until you came clean or made things right. Oh, I am a Libra, y'all. Let's be real. Colonizers didn't understand any of this. When Europeans saw these figures, all they saw was voodoo dolls. They saw witchcraft and superstitions. They called it devil's work, of course, and snatched hundreds of these figures out of Africa, putting them in museums, stripping them of their power and using them as proof that African traditions were backward. But they never saw the order. They never saw the science, the accountability, the community healing, the divine law. They also didn't see that these spiritual technologies made it to the Americas. Enslaved Africans carried these same principles. Spirit containers, oath binding, using roots, bones, iron, and mirrors into hoodoo, voodoo, palo, and other traditions here. Now today, you can find Nkisi Encondi figures in museums all over Europe and the US, but most have lost their charge. The original medicines were removed, the prayers stopped, but the energy is still there, waiting for the right hands, the right words, and the right reverence. Now, in some parts of Central Africa, Ngangas still build and activate Nkisi Encondi for real spiritual work. It's not for show. It's not for tourists. It's still about justice, truth, and restoring balance, same as it ever was. Now, for those of us in the diaspora, learning about Nkisi and Encondi is a way to remember what was taken and to reclaim what I say a sense of spiritual technology that is our birthright. It reminds me as a Libra that I am why justice and truth and accountability are spiritual principles, not just human rules. Okay? I see myself in the Nkisi and Encondi. I do. This is why I'm doing this video. Not because I'm claiming someone else's culture, but because that hunger for truth and balance is real for me. Sometimes in life, we can't settle scores or fix betrayals through human means. Sometimes spirit has to move. Sometimes you need a hunter on your side and something that sees, that remembers, that makes things right, which is the Nkisi and Encondi. Even if you never work with one directly, the lesson is clear. Speak truth, keep your word, don't bring mess to anyone's altar, and honor your ancestors and respect the power of spirit. Now, if you're a justice seeker like myself, if you've ever longed for wrongs to be made right, this work will call to you. It's not about revenge. It's about balance. It's about community. It's about the kind of justice you can't buy, only earn. So next time you see an image like this, remember, it's not a doll. It's not just art. It's never a relic. It's a technology. It's a witness. It's a contract. It's a reminder that spirit still moves and the ancestors are always watching. Do you hear me? When I say the Nkisi and Encondi are powerful ritual objects or spirit containers from the Congo, that's what I mean. They are believed to, again, house spirits that can be summoned to carry out specific tasks, often involving, again, justice, protection, or healing. So this here is a melanated spiritual technology. This is a sacred science and always an ancestral accountability that is carved in wood, and it still holds power. Now, if you learn something new, or if you've got knowledge about Nkisi, Encondi, and this history, drop it in the comments below because I do want to hear from you. Also, they are activated and used in a certain type of way. They are carved and prepared, and a sculpture carves a wooden figure with a cavity, and the cavity is often open in the abdomen, right? And then they are going to empower it with balongo, a inganga, which is a ritual specialist, will fill the cavity with balongo, a mixture of, again, sacred things, and then it could be containing animal parts, plants, mineral substances. To me, it's a lot like jars, right? Activation, then sealing. The priest activates the Nkisi by breathing into the cavity and sealing it, often again with a mirror, and adding nails and blades. Nails, blades, and other metal objects are hammered into the figure to affirm oaths, to seal agreements, or to call the Nkisi's power. Now, it is given direction and purpose within that. The priest directs the Nkisi's action by using specific materials such as claws to incite the spirit or seeds to encourage movement. Now, the oath taken. Individuals may lick the blades or nails before they are hammered in, symbolizing the sealing of an agreement and invoking the Nkisi's power. Now, if an oath is broken or harm is inflicted, the Nkisi and Encondi is believed to activate and pursue the wrongdoer seeking justice. That's it. Again, guys, if you learn something new or if you got knowledge about Nkisi and Encondi and this history, drop it again in the comments below. I do want to hear from you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and support this with somebody who needs to know their roots run deep. Support the channel so we can keep bringing the truth unfiltered and uncovered. You're walking with Lady Vasori, and this is Visions by Vasori, y'all. I'll talk to y'all later. Ashe.